so we are in the heart of Hong Kong, probably the most dynamic city in the entire world for capturing architecture and design. I've got my phone and I've got 3 lenses from ShiftCam. I've got the 18mm wide, I've got the 12mm ultra wide aspherical lens, and I've got the tele. So I can get some really tight abstract shots, and then I can get way back and get some really vast dynamic wide shots. So it's going to really complement one another when I'm trying to tell the story of architecture in the city. All right, let's get to our first location and see what we can get. And what I like about this location is it has these beautiful buildings on either side that come straight down from that and give really nice lines that bring you into the shot. So when you're photographing this, you're going to get these great, beautiful lines that kind of pull you into the shot. So for this, I want to get as much in the shot as possible. So I'm going to use this 12mm ultra wide aspherical lens. So you just slide that bad boy straight on there, and I'm either going to go right in the middle of the building so you get perfect symmetry, or I'm going to favor one side, get really close so you get right next to that line that pulls you into the sky. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the telephoto lens, which is the 60mm telephoto. I'm getting right up to the very roof of this building. I was expecting to not get that close, so it's really dynamic. Now, if you want to amp that up a bit, you can put this onto the portrait lens, which most phones have nowadays, and that will give you 4 times magnification, and it's still going to be epically sharp and clear. So right there, I'm just getting, as you can see, just bits and pieces of the structure. I'm just trying to find interesting lines or shapes. All right, so we're done with that shot. We're gonna move on. You can see behind me that there's this beautiful, densely populated section of the city that has really interesting, unique reflections, shapes, patterns, and it's all densely situated amongst each other. So what's gonna be really cool is we can get some wide angle shots showing the density of the city, but then we can take a telephoto lens and really zoom in and get some of the details and shapes of each building. Look at this. We're just absolutely surrounded by buildings here. Take your pick. I mean, this is really dynamic because we've got lots of different reflections from all the other buildings, so it really shows the complexity of the surroundings. So it's not always necessary to use your ultra wide lens when you're shooting architecture. I think the 18mm is a really nice choice. It gives a bit more of a photojournalistic wide angle look, and it's going to be a really sharp lens. And overall, I just really like the feel of it. So what's nice about the telephoto lens is it allows you to pick bits and pieces of the architecture that you find interesting and highlight them. So whereas in a wide angle, you can see the impressiveness of the structure, with the telephoto lens, you can really hone in on these beautiful aspects of the building that you want to highlight. Again, like before, you can amplify that even greater if you put that onto your portrait mode lens and get 4 times magnification. So what I'd recommend is looking for different perspectives when you're shooting architecture. You have the equipment, you're not weighted down by bags full of lenses, so get out there and just look for something unique. So what people usually think about when they talk about architecture photography, they think buildings and vast cityscapes, but I think looking for interesting design elements along the way within the city can be just as interesting, like this staircase, for example. For this shot in particular, the wide angle, the ultra wide angle is the way to go because it really gives the dimension of the shape. All right, so I had to stop here because this building just grabs me every time I walk by it. It has such a graphic nature to it, the circular, almost nautical style windows, and just sort of all of the symmetry and lines are so amazing. And I think I've always wanted to photograph it. Now's the time. I'm gonna first try to get a really kind of long, wide shot that shows just the depth and the size and the scope of this building. And then I'm gonna kind of hone in and get just really utilize the graphic nature of the shot. So I'll get the telephoto on there, and I'll just get elements like cut off bits and pieces of the building and get some real abstract shapes. All right, so we're leaving now from Central, and we've had a lot of great footage of architecture, modern architecture that's been really fun to shoot. We've had a lot of great results with the wide angle lens, the ultra wide lens, and the telephoto lens. We're now going to go move on to Kowloon side, which has a lot of kind of traditional architecture and older buildings, which look really interesting when the lights start to come out in the city. All right, so we just got off the ferry. We didn't get into the location that I had planned to take us to next, but we found this epic background. Look at this. We're gonna shoot both straight up, getting the walls on either side of us, and then we're gonna do some horizontal shots as well. All right, so we've just finished shooting at this location. It's great, like the sunset was amazing. Got some really nice colors off of the mirrored windows here. Super graphic and interesting. Through the little gaps of the buildings, you get other buildings behind it, and that gives it a real nice depth and layering effect because you have different facades, so you have different textures. You have this gold mirror, and then behind you get some like zigzag patterns with some blue, so it's a super nice quilt of textures, I guess you could say. All of these lenses on that primary lens, we're going to be able to take advantage of all of that incredible low light technology. So we're going to continue doing that at the next location where there's literally no lights. It's just going to be all ambient lights. The sun has gone down, it's dark, it's nighttime, it's time for a drink, it's time for dinner, but we're going to keep shooting. So as you can see, it is nighttime in Hong Kong, but we're back to some of the old locations that we were shooting at earlier in the day when it was bright and sunny and hot. So this is going to be a really interesting shot. We've got cars and buses and taxis coming towards us, so we get some nice streaming lights, and then we've got the lights from the overpass, and we've got the projected lights from the buildings that are going to show off all of the really nice graphic shapes of the building. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put it on the self-timer because it is a slow shutter speed. So you're going to want to let it kind of do its own thing. You don't want that blur from touching the screen. So basically, what this is allowing us to do is shoot at a much lower ISO because we're able to utilize a longer shutter speed. And that's going to give us an exposure that has much better quality. It's going to have much better clarity, sharpness. There's going to be less noise. The colors are generally going to be better. There's going to be less degradation. We're going to wrap this up now. This has been an amazing day. It's been a really great opportunity to test what this phone and ShiftCam lenses can do together, and it's a really dynamic combination. For all of you mobile filmmakers out there, photographers, videographers, bloggers, influencers, this is going to be the perfect kit for getting out there and getting some great architecture content. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. And I'm sure if you're anything like me, you yourself are inspired and want to get out and shoot yourself. So do share with us all of your amazing content that you take with our lenses. And we'll do our absolute best to feature as many of you talented artists as possible. So until next time, thanks for joining us.